escalated quickly.
We are here for episode 21 of the Big Bad Beetleborgs. The doctor is in.
Y'all. You may see him now, buddies.
I'm Cam.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Ryan.
This was an interesting episode. I didn't hate it.
Cool. Oh, I didn't hate
it.
it either. I hated aspects of it.
Always.
I hated a very specific aspect of it.
Right.
I hated one very snaky, confusing boy part of it.
This was a prime example episode of the problem with them having to do both the Hillhurst and the Beetleborgs part of the story. Like,
It's very jarring. There's not much in the
Jara-ing.
way of real...
Were they even a fucking part of this episode?
very briefly.
yeah, we saw them working out, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Saw Typhus getting mad reps. Somebody is knocking on the door of Hillhurst with their cane, even though there's a very clear and ornate door knocker there. But Flabber was ready for it and pops out in a like pizza boy, yeah, with like an Italiano mustache. Here's your pizza. It'll be $12.95. The guy's like, I didn't order pizza.
I forgot. I did. Thanks.
The guy knocks again. He opens it back up. The guy bursts in, and he is Dr. Baron von Frankenbean. Flabber's like, I'm gonna kick you out of here. Like, this is my house. And that's when Frankenbean like comes through like, Daddy. Dr. Frankenbean like kind of just moves in, just decides that he's living there now. Who's he kick out of the room? Oh, he kicks Mums out of his room to set up his laboratory. While all that's going on, he's moving in. We cut to the Zoom comic shop, and Roland is zip-zooming around the displays and dusting them and cleaning them in his super speed. Yeah.
Dogs, get those rings. Sonic.
Yeah, Roland's dad like wanders in, and he's just like, how did you do that so fast? And he's like, well, whenever I put my mind to it. This new supposedly brand new issue that Roland gets handed to by his dad has a new monster on it called Cyber Serpent, who is supposedly stronger than all three of the Beetleborgs combined. And Roland...
Okay, hold on. What? It's not even cyber.
There's no cybernetics, I know.
It's the stupidest looking villain we've ever seen.
Oh, it's atrocious.
I've seen some stupid
the
villains.
dumbest
Yes.
thing in the world. Like, imagine any of the monsters from after Resident Evil went off the fucking deep end.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
The Magnivores decide that they're going to let Cyber Serpent out, and they do, and it's just like flopping around, and then these kids are like in the park, and they drop it. And do one of you guys want to describe Cyber Serpent?
Nick, you take this one. I took the other one.
Like, it is a man? Human legs up to about torso level. Once you hit torso level, there's like this sort of... It's like a giant tongue coming out of his chest. And then where the arms would go across is the body of a snake.
I thought it was the
right
penis of a
arm.
man.
Well, it is, but that's a behind-the-scenes fact.
It's a dick in a morph suit. Green screen. And the right arm being the head. And then there's like a weird bump thing in the center above where the tongue is, like where it connects. And I didn't notice this until a little bit earlier. There's like this weird little pink tail that was like kind of wrapped around the left leg that I didn't notice during the episode, but I noticed whenever I looked up a picture afterwards.
Why is it called Cyber Serpent? Why did they think that was a good name?
No.
I feel like we need to watch the Juku B Fighter translate.
Yeah. This concept art is the same thing, but what we think is a tongue is actually a red snake, and that pink tail we saw is the tail of the red snake.
That makes a lot more sense.
So the actual character's head is the red snake's head, like folded around the top of the torso, and then the green snake is laying over the red snake, covering what is that, and then the like legs are another snake.
It still doesn't explain
What in the hell were
why.
they
Wait,
on?
the red snake already has arms. It has green snake arms.
So-
it just has like another snake placed over it horizontally.
So they used in B Fighter they used a special weapon to kill him.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, the beetle break. I don't know what it is, but
What the fuck's a beetle break?
I don't
I'm
know.
imagining just a fucking pedal. They just step on it and he dies.
Oh my god, like a brake pedal.
So that second form with the red snake head does pop up in B-Fighter, and we missed it. They robbed us of that.
What? And they
Yeah.
had surprisingly...
They took the coolest part of it.
Well, Cyber Serpent is
Can we call him something else? Can
Heavy
we give
Snake?
him I like Heavy Snake better.
his Japanese name. So while Heavy Snake is running around town like just blowing shit up, the kids see the snake guy doing stuff, and they're like, "We got to transform."
Snake guy doing stuff.
Yep. And and he had scabs with him. We haven't seen those in a while. Heavy Snake and the scabs are very clearly just walking down the street, and the kids are like, "We got to transform," and they do, and they transform. And song counter goes to 23. They're like, "Oh, they're going to the chemical plant for no reason."
You know,
Yeah.
that's where you go. Go hang out at the chemical plant. That's what we used to do when we was children.
We switch to Japanese footage of them fighting inside and then inexplicably outside of a chemical plant, presumably.
They confront the bad guys, they engage in action, and then they're outside an alleyway that has no bearing were.
No.
It looks nothing like the room they were just in, and all it took was for them to jump.
Yep.
They
You
jumped.
know, sometimes I jump myself into parallel dimensions.
We cut back again to Hillhurst, and the doctor is still chasing the monsters around, saying that he's going to correct Fangula's teeth.
Well, this was about the time that we started noticing the jarring difference in the transitions, I feel
Yes.
like, or maybe right before
Yeah.
this, because it's like maybe a minute of the scene we described before this, before they switched back to Hillhurst.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels too compressed.
It's very back and forth and back and forth and back and
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah. And it's we'll see like a
we
few
don't
seconds of the snake doing something, and then immediately cut back to Baron von Frankenbeans chasing a different monster. He's gonna give Wolfgang this shot, and Wolfgang jumps off the balcony, like latches onto
He grabs onto the chandelier.
Yeah.
Yeah, he swings his way to freedom.
It was
I
pretty
feel
funny
like
because the doctor was like, "You're trapped." It's like, dude, it's a 10-foot drop. He's
Right.
a werewolf. He can just drop down. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he's jumped off of
He's
that
done it
multiple
before.
times. Yeah. Do one of you guys want to talk about what happens when he unravels Frankenbean? Or not Frankenbean.
Frankenbean.
Yeah,
Mums.
Mums.
Like the first episode, Mums got unraveled, and he had a badass like Skeletor,
Yeah,
like
something that
Reaper.
Ryan, do you want to take this one? Considering I think you had the most visceral reaction to it.
he waddles down into this little man child. He goes up to Dr. Von Dickenstein and kicks him in the shin and like walks away. Like
As we're doing this whole back and forth between scenes, they try to defeat the monster by blasting him. They go, well, this isn't working. Let's try something else. So they line up in a different order and shoot again.
they shuffle their attack order.
They really shift their weight onto a different foot and shooting.
There's a couple things wrong with like this whole, we like threw everything at him and it didn't work, because like after they shoot him twice and it doesn't work, they just leave. They didn't pull out their special weapons, their like unique like blaster and blade and grabber weapons.
Battle base or whatever.
Yeah,
Beetle
like
battle base.
what was it, last episode or two
One
episodes ago?
thing-
Yeah, they brought out their special big boy.
They nuked it. They
Yeah.
nuked the monster with Gargantus. Like,
The only thing I could see is maybe we shouldn't nuke something so close to a fucking chemical plant.
but even like fair, I guess. But like the next time they pop up, they still don't use any additional weapons, and they're in a desert.
They're like, oh, I guess we have to wait till next issue to find out what his weakness is, despite the fact that, like before, they just nuked that one guy,
Yeah.
despite I'm sure they didn't do that in the comic. Like,
No, they have very rarely looked to the comics for like a method to defeat the bad guy.
so
That's
was
how
that what their plan was? Was
I
to
don't-
like, hey, Flabber, can we get the next issue?
I don't know. You would think he could just summon the next issue, wouldn't you?
He's a master of reality.
Yeah, you could just make something strong. Like, hey, Flabber, this guy's stronger than all of us combined. Make a fourth Beetleborg.
Well,
This
we're
is-
not to that episode.
I
yet.
know, but like this is the perfect time for that to pop up, right? Like, so they just leave. They're like, let's go ask Flabber for help. So the kids like teleport to Hillhurst, I guess, and they walk in, and all the monsters are like, Flabber looks like he's been like lobotomized, like he's just
Yeah.
clicking one key on the piano.
He's like,
just drooling, like
Yeah.
just staring off into space.
Von Frankenbean comes up to the kids and is like, oh, good, more experiments. As they're like, what did you do to our friends? And he's like, Frankenbean, go get him. Joe is
Joe
just like,
says, like, Frankenbean, don't make me put the hurt on
Yeah.
you.
yeah, she like
You know
cracks her
my wallet
knuckles.
says
She's like,
bad
I'll give you
motherfucker."
one warning.
Yeah.
Dear resident, first and final warning.
You want a fucking go, bitch?
Lifts him over her head, spins him around.
We don't know if the other hand is on his genital.
He gets thrown into the bookcase, which then spins around, and then Drew, I guess, needed to feel like he was contributing.
I'll help.
Yeah,
Now
and
it's my turn, even though Roland's over there sitting. She's got it.
Yeah.
Roland's just standing there like, she already did the job.
Baron von Frankenbean runs over like, my child, and suddenly he's a nice, sweet guy, explains that, like, all the monsters will feel better in the morning.
He said it's temporary. He like said initially it's temporary. He's like, I would never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor.
So, like, all of a sudden, like, Flabber spins over, and he's like, gee, Doc, I feel great.
Well,
Thanks a million and all this.
He had it timed because he looks at his watch and he goes, actually, it should be wearing off in about 3, 2,
Oh,
1.
I didn't notice that.
Flabber,
Sorry.
yeah. And then Flabber, like, shakes it off.
Dr. Frankenbean reveals that he's actually helped everybody, and they all come over like, oh, yeah, we actually feel better.
Oh, it
And
turns out you're just a prick that likes fucking with people.
right. He, like, said he was going to fix Flabber's multiple personality schizophrenia.
Oh,
Which
yeah!
is not a thing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Two separate...
Multiple times they fucked this up, which
Yeah.
is the first time.
Two separate
Yeah.
disorders, which are real disorders, not gags in a kid's show. They, like, ask Flabber for help defeating Cyber Serpent, and Flabber's like, well, you should ask the doc. He's a genius. And they do. He just says, like, well, if he's too strong for you to beat him with strength, use your brains.
Outsmart him.
Like, okay, fine. Like, this is where the, like, that we were talking about that problem of, like, you're dealing with the story of Dr. Frankenbean, which ties very little into the story of the actual Beetleborgs fighting the bad guy. Does he actually explain what to do, or does he do the mumbly?
Here's what happens.
No.
He says, like, all you have to do is... And then they huddle in and he goes...
Okay, I thought so. I got it. I thought so.
Are you sure?
Actually,
Yes.
I didn't quite get it. Could you a little
it-
louder for the kids?
Yada yada yada, they shoot the snake when it stands on the comic. Yada yada yada, this is some bullshit.